What is going on, guys? What's going on, 27 squad? Welcome back into another video, and it's draft time. ...2023 NFL mock draft is here, 1.0. I know by this time I usually have 2 or 3 out by this time, but I've been busy and I gotta get this out soon because free agency is right around the corner. Like tomorrow that I'm recording this video is starting the tampering time for free agency, so I got to get things done right now. So this is the post-combine, post-Carolina Panthers trade mock draft. Okay, so we are going to do this in 4s, so we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know the deal. So let's go with the first 4. We've got CJ Stroud going number 1 overall. I think CJ Stroud, if you're going to trade up for a quarterback, it's different if you just have the number 1 overall pick, right? But it's different when you trade up for it, because then you really want the safest guy. You want to make sure you get the most bang for your buck without the risks. And I've said this before when it comes to CJ Stroud and Bryce Young. I don't think the level of talent is that unbalanced between Young and Stroud to just flat out take Young. I think CJ Stroud is a viable option. On top of that, you have the height difference as well. I think CJ Stroud might be a better thrower of the football as well, with better ball placement, better tighter spirals, things like that. Bryce Young is just a flat out playmaker. So I gotta take CJ Stroud if it comes to like the Panthers trading from 9 to 1. I would think they're gonna take the best bets, the safest quarterback in this draft, and I'm going CJ Stroud. Then obviously with the Texans pick, I have them taking Bryce Young, and so it's quarterback 1-2. And then I have something interesting here, because if we're being completely honest, there are a couple of teams that can get to that number 3 overall spot, with Arizona possibly trading down. And you're looking at the Falcons, the Raiders, even the Lions, maybe even the Seahawks if they really want to get crazy and get a quarterback for the future or whatever it is. You may get some other teams in there. I can't think of them off the bat, but there are at least 3 teams that can go after a quarterback here. And as the Colts, you want to make sure you grab up your quarterback. You want to make sure you don't miss your opportunity, because honestly, if you're drafting in the top 5 and you end up with the 4th best quarterback, I mean, odds are he's probably not going to be worth the 4th overall pick. You want to, get the next best thing. In my honest opinion, Anthony Richardson is a guy that you don't have to start immediately. Obviously, he's not ready to start immediately. Go ahead, and the Colts have been, dealing with free agent quarterbacks all this time. They can deal 1 or 2 more years with a free agent quarterback and then start Anthony Richardson. You got a new head coach in there, fresh start. Get your quarterback for the future and eventually start him. Next, we have the Arizona Cardinals, obviously getting best player available, Will Anderson there. I mean, this is just a no-brainer pick. Not much to say about that one. And they pick up some draft compensation. By the way, here's the draft compensation. I don't know where I'm going to put it, but here's the draft compensation for the mock trade. All right, next we have 5, 6, 7, and 8. We have Jalen Carter going to Seahawks. Listen, the Seahawks are that team that just they do not give a fluff. All right, they will take anybody, especially in the first round. They have been known to be risky with their draft picks, and even they don't really care who the hell says anything. They don't care what anybody says. They're gonna take who they want. And Jalen Carter, obviously, if everything gets taken care of, everything gets resolved with his situation off the field, this would be a great pick for the Seahawks. Also fits a huge need as well. 6, I have Christian Gonzalez going to the Lions. They need cornerback help, and in my opinion, I think Christian Gonzalez is the best corner in this draft. I think he proved that in the combine as well. You just watch him on film. I like Christian Gonzalez a lot. I like Devin Witherspoon as well, but they're 1A, 1B. It's really interchangeable between those two. All right, number 7, I have Will Levis going to the Raiders. I don't think he's going to start immediately either, but he may be able to start a lot faster than Anthony Richardson is. I think Richardson's the better talent. I just think Will Levis is a little bit more pro ready right now. I got the Falcons getting Peter Skoronski. Caleb McGarry is a free agent, or at least projected to hit free agency at the right tackle position. You plug and play Skoronski there. He's the best tackle in this draft. I think he's very, very pro ready too. Very good technique. And yeah, that'll be a great pick for the Falcons. On top of that, Jake Matthews is getting older. He's been their left tackle there since 2014. And when he is ready to hang it up, I think Skoronski can fill in that role nicely. All right, next batch we have the Chicago Bears. They are at the 9th pick now as opposed to the 1st overall pick, and they grab up Devin Witherspoon, who a lot of people think is the best corner in this draft, so they get good value here at the 9th spot. Philadelphia getting Tyree Wilson. A lot of people don't really have Wilson going this far, but with 4 quarterbacks going within the top 7 picks, you're going to get guys that fall a bit down draft boards. I like Tyree Wilson a lot. He's a little raw, but he does not have to, start immediately. There's a lot of depth on that Philadelphia Eagles D-line, but this is what they like to do. They like to get up a lot of depth, build it up, and get a good rotation going, and that's why they had 70 sacks last season. Tennessee Titans, I had them originally getting a wide receiver. I readjusted it and had them getting Paris Campbell. I know Taylor Lewan they cut, but I felt like they needed to upgrade their wide receiver position so bad, but it just makes a lot of sense. You have a really good tackle on the board in Paris Johnson. Go ahead and grab him up and just try to replace Taylor Lewan the best you can as fast as you can. Number 12, the Texans with their 2nd pick, along with Bryce Young, they pick up Jackson Smith and Jigba. Man, this would be great if the Panthers went Bryce Young, number 1 overall, and then the Houston Texans got CJ Stroud, and then they can have Jackson Smith and Jigba and CJ Stroud together. That would be a great tandem to see. But in this case, I have Bryce Young and Jackson Smith and Jigba going to the Texans. 13th overall pick, the Jets get Broderick Jones. They got a little bit of a gap there in their right tackle position. I believe they still have George Fant. I'm not sure. And then Mekhi Becton slimmed up. He's looking like he's going to make a comeback for left tackle. But that right tackle position, as I know, has been a problem for a number of years now. Go ahead and shore it up with Broderick Jones. I don't think he's like ready to be a left tackle in the NFL, but a right tackle would be great. That run blocking, bigger, mauler type tackle is a guy that fits perfectly for the Jets. Number 14, I had to get a little crazy with this one because it's hard to predict the Patriots pick because they're not good at drafting. They're just not. Let's just be real. They're better in like the mid rounds for whatever reason, and they draft mid round guys in the 1st round. I don't understand it, but I have them getting Quentin Johnston here. I don't like Quentin Johnston at all, but I have a feeling Bill Belichick will. I don't know. He's an outside guy. He's probably the only outside guy in the top tier of the wide receivers. So they might have a premium on him, and they may value him a lot more than all these other receivers who are more so slot guys. They might want to pick up Quentin Johnston here, but listen, Patriots are weird, man. They do this kind of stuff all the time, so I had them getting one here. They need wide receiver help anyway, so it kind of makes sense, but we'll see. The Green Bay Packers, their wide receiving core is okay, even though I wouldn't blame them for going wide receiver here. They are a wide receiver needy team. Doubs and Watson are okay, but they can definitely use a number 1 receiver. But I suggest they don't have anybody at tight end right now. Jordan Love is potentially going to be your starter. A young quarterback's best friend is always a receiving tight end, and Dalton Kincaid is that guy. A lot of people compare him to 2nd round pick last year by the Broncos, Greg Dulcich. He's a guy that compares nicely to Dalton Kincaid, a receiving tight end, runs great routes, pretty fast for a guy in his position, and I think would be Jordan Love's best friend when going into the season. 16, I have the Washington Commanders taking Brian Branch. Now, there's an option where they could take Joey Porter here, but with Brian Branch, it allows you to do a lot of different things with him, and on defense, he could fill in the nickel, he could fill in at safeties, both the safety spots, so having him there may be a little bit more valuable than Joey Porter, who is a developing corner. He's not like ready right off the bat. Brian Branch is probably the safest pick for the Commanders. 17th overall, I have the Steelers taking Joey Porter Jr. Now, I swear this is not planned at all, but how many years has the Pittsburgh Steelers needed cornerbacks every single year in the draft? Every single year, I find myself mocking a corner to the Steelers and the Minnesota Vikings every year, but it's kind of poetic a little bit, isn't it? Joey Porter Jr., his father won a Super Bowl with the Pittsburgh Steelers, him being drafted by the Steelers, it just makes sense, right? So I just let it fly. I let it fly. Anyone to Penn State, Pennsylvania connection, you already know. Next up, Detroit Lions with their 2nd first-round pick. I have them taking Brian Bresee here. They're getting a little bit thin on the interior of their defensive line. Bresee is a force on the interior of the defensive line. I think they'll it'll pay off dividends if him and Aiden Hutchinson are there on that D-line. 19th overall, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, they are falling apart, especially on the defensive side of the football. Of course, losing Tom Brady is big, but they're losing a lot of guys on that D-line, a lot of guys in the secondary. They need to make sure they build up that front seven again, and Lucas Van Ness is a good pick here. I'm not the biggest Van Ness guy, to be honest with you, but you already have Joe Tryon in there, and adding Lucas Van Ness would add just a power, speed to power tandem for the Buccaneers defensive line with Joe Tryon and Lucas Van Ness coming off the edge. 20th overall, I think this is match made in heaven. Nolan Smith going to the Seattle Seahawks. They need edge rusher help next to Uchenna Nwasu, and Nwasu kind of is very similar to Nolan Smith, or Nolan Smith is kind of very similar to Uchenna Nwasu as well. And on top of that, they already had Jalen Carter, so adding that Georgia connection can make that defensive line so scary. And I think I would love to see this. Now, I'm not a Seahawks guy or anything like that, but it would be great to see Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith on the same defense in the NFL. 21, I have the Los Angeles Chargers getting Zay Flowers. That's right, over Jordan Addison. I think with Zay Flowers having a strong combine and a lot of people watching more film on Zay Flowers, they're kind of seeing that he may be, even though he's smaller, he may be the better option than Jordan Addison. I know Addison's a little bit more explosive, but Zay Flowers, both of these guys actually are very good after the catch, but Zay Flowers is just a stronger prospect to me. Stronger hands, a little bit more better of a kind of start and stop, sort of make you miss sort of dude. Jordan Addison is just extremely explosive upfield, which is nothing wrong with that at all. I like both of these players, but I think Zay Flowers may be the better fit there in Los Angeles. Have them taking Flowers at 21. 22, we have the Baltimore Ravens taking Jordan Addison. This is a no-brainer. They have to get wide receiver help if they want to keep Lamar Jackson around, and Jackson's going to wind up pulling a Russell Wilson and just out there dipping because nobody's willing to help the quarterback. They just want the quarterback to do it himself. So they have to provide some help for him, and Addison would be a very, very good selection there, and would fit what they want to do over there. You know, he's an explosive guy, so would definitely fit what they want to do over there. 23, I have the Minnesota Vikings taking Kalijah Kancey. He is a sort of an off-season riser. A lot of numbers similar enough to Aaron Donald. Now, nobody expects him to beat Aaron Donald. That's why he's taking number 23rd overall, as opposed to Aaron Donald, who was taken in the top 10. And they both come out of Pitt, so I guess there's that. But he's not Aaron Donald, but he tested very, very well at the scouting combine. I imagine that is going to help him to get into the first round. Next, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. I have them taking O'Cyrus Torrence here. Now, there's not a lot of great interior guys in the top of this draft. O'Cyrus Torrence is probably the only guy I would kind of give a nod to in the first round, and I mean that's even a stretch. With teams going to the back end of the first round, they might pick up guys they know they're not going to end up with in the second round. So you're picking up a guy like O'Cyrus Torrence will kind of be a safer pick, so they don't have to kind of pick from the bottom of the barrel in later rounds with certain positions like interior offensive line. So, and obviously they have a hole there in the interior offensive line. They need to help out Trevor Lawrence, and Torrence would be a good pick there. 25, I have my New York Giants taking Deonte Banks, corner out of Maryland. All the wide receivers are off the board. As much as I would love Zay Flowers, he's my dream pick at 25. I don't think he's going to end up there. I don't think any of these receivers are going to end up there. I'm not a Johnston fan. If he's on the board, I don't want him. So, and I'm not a Jalen Hyatt guy either. I think Jalen Hyatt's going to fall probably to like the second, third round. But I like Deonte Banks a lot. We have a hole at that cornerback spot, the second cornerback spot. And I don't know if we're going to bring in a free agent here, but as of right now, Deonte Banks to the Giants. Same thing with the Dallas Cowboys. They have a hole at the cornerback 2 spot. They've been dealing with that for a while, and Cam Smith is a good option there, another man corner to go into the NFC East. Buffalo. If there's one thing I've been saying for a long time with this Buffalo Bills team, is that they will win a Super Bowl if they add a star-studded running back. And you will draft this guy. You won't have to pay a crazy, like you won't have to pay a Saquon Barkley or something like that. You don't have to pay a Derrick Henry or anything like that. or a Miles Sanders that's hitting free agency. You can draft a first-round running back. Your team does not have that many needs on it. You can make a luxury pick like this to set you over the edge. Give Josh Allen a break. Give him a running game. Bijan Robinson is one of the best running back prospects to come out since Saquon Barkley and since Derrick Henry. And Derrick Henry went in the second round. Like, I'm talking about as a prospect. This guy is fantastic and one of my favorite guys in this draft. And he is a workhorse running back. To let off a little bit of the burden from Josh Allen would pay off dividends, man. And you won't have to force Josh Allen to do everything all the time. So having Bijan Robinson in there would be great for Buffalo. It would probably get them over the edge, man. Get them over the hump in winning these closer games that they find themselves in the playoffs. 28, I have the Bengals taking Drew Sanders out of Arkansas. Maybe a little high, I agree, but I don't know. He just seems like a Cincinnati Bengal to me. I don't know. I just see him as one. He's sort of like a Micah Parsons type play style. He's not Micah Parsons, but he has a similar play style. He's not the greatest in coverage, although Micah is better in coverage. But Drew Sanders specifically is not greatest in coverage. He's best as a blitzing strong side linebacker in like a 4-3 scheme, and I think it'll be perfect for him to end up in Cincinnati. 29, I have the Saints taking Myles Murphy. That's another team I always feel like I'm having them take an edge rusher or defensive interior guy every year, or a linebacker somewhere in the front seven every year. But Myles Murphy seems like a good fit here. I know he didn't have a great season. I know he was fighting through an injury in 2022, had a better film in 2021. So they're hoping they're going to get the 2021 Myles Murphy, and he's going to be back to full form. Now, as much as I hate the Philadelphia Eagles, this is probably one of my favorite picks in the draft, and that is the Eagles taking Emmanuel Forbes, the cornerback out of Mississippi State. I think there's a match made in heaven, if I'm being honest with you. I don't know if they're going to keep James Bradbury. I think they're also might be talking about letting go of Darius Slay as well. I think I heard that as well. They might be out of their two best corners, two top 5 corners in the league. They might have to try to scramble for a cornerback soon. Emmanuel Forbes, to me, although he's a little bit undersized in the weight department, 166 pounds, he is a long-armed, quick reaction zone corner, something that they run in Philadelphia. Now, obviously, Gannon is the head coach of the Cardinals now, so I don't know if they're going to change up their scheme. But if we're talking about the scheme from last year, that soft zone cover 2 that they ran, the Eagles did, Emmanuel Forbes will fit that to a T. I think he'll be fantastic in there. He's a little bit boomer bust, but man, if this guy develops, he'll be a great corner for the Eagles. And then 31, they have a hole at right tackle, and this is a team with not a lot of needs, so they're just going to address any need they see fit. And I have them taking Anton Harrison at the back end of the first round. 31 picks. There it is, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you guys enjoyed this mock draft, if you want to see more content just like this, make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe. If you guys are new to the channel, leave a comment. Tell me guys what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next video.